And we're back with some more Tokyo Xtreme Racer. This is part number 8. Ow, we've been going a little while with the NSX, but it's time to move on to some new pastures. And, well, of course, you kind of know me. You know how I feel about the R34 Skyline if you watched my original playthrough from 2015. So we're going to be switching over to that now. The Red Devil Skyline is just such a good car. The NSX has served us very well, and I'd still absolutely recommend it to nearly anybody who wants a car that's really good for the end run. But the Skyline is just, it's fast and it's also quite stable. It's not the most stable. I'd say the Impreza is more stable than this, but this is definitely on its own sort of plateau. It makes nearly 650 horsepower, fully upgraded, as you can see there. I mean, you know, when you got that certain amount of power, that is exactly the sort of thing you would want to have near the end game. And I'm doing some tuning stuff here again. Thank you, as always, to Jake MR2 for the tuning setup here. Kind of helps with just making the car a little more responsive and kind of manages its speed a bit better than its stock configuration. So, as usual, we're going to go right into the action here. There's not going to be a boss this time around because of the formatting, so it's just going to be 2 teams. And both teams this time around have 6 members each. And restarting with the first, of course, the first of these 2 teams, which just so happens to be TR Racing. Thankfully, after quite a couple parts where it was a lot of like teams that kind of had like a bit of a theme to it in terms of the vehicles they drove, this time we're finally getting a bit of a switch up. TR Racing has an assorted group of vehicles, as you will see. The first switch here is Redline Cindy. Used to just race the quarter mile, but has just switched to the Tokyo highways and wants to be the best. Well, you've chosen a good car to try to become the best with, but of course you're not going to be able to be much of the best if you serve as a team member for a team, because if you want to be the best, you're going to probably have to do better than the rest of your team, so much so that you don't become the team member. And you can honestly see, even at this part of the game, even if you do some minor bits of screw-ups, those Skylines, they get really quick. And that's why I wanted to switch to one of them, because they're fast. They are very fast. But nevertheless, I just thought it would make more sense to use one of these for the playthrough, because it was one of my favorite cars to use during the original 2015 playthrough, and it's just a car I really like in general, R34 Skyline. But anyways, we're going to move on to the next member of TR Racing. It is Dancing Chaser, and a mostly stock-looking red Chaser, used to flying up and down Route 3 while living in Yokohama, but recently has been challenging drivers on the Tokyo Highway. So yeah, for the first 2 drivers we get here, one's with a little bit more bio info than some of the ones we usually get. Unfortunately for them, they're also in a Chaser, which at this point in the game is going to really start to struggle against some of the cars it has to pair up against. Also, one thing you'll notice about the R34 Skyline, which is very annoying, is the bumper detail. Like the detail, kind of the quality of it kind of dips once the camera kind of pans out, because the game loads the LOD model far too quickly. As a result, so rather than waiting until it's quite far out, it decides to do it at about that point, which means it's very plainly noticeable and is something that is just painfully noticeable and is a little bit annoying as a result, but whatever, you know, it'd be like that. Anyways, next member we have here is 180 Master, and how ironic they're driving a white 180 SX. Old-time racer who has been using his current car for 7 years. Well, I mean, sometimes you just can't let go of a vehicle that you really like, and maybe that's exactly the case here with a 180 Master. Oh, excuse me. I am doing this at nearly 11:30 in the morning, and my sleep schedule is all over the place, so apologize if I seem a little bit out of it. Doing the best that I can to at least give a good enough commentary, at least something that I would be personally happy with. But anyways, we're going to go from one 180SX to another 180SX, Lovely Rena, an off-road racer who has recently come to the highway. A lot more of these off-road racers. I surely hope this Lovely Rena was not using the 180SX off-road, because they would have been in for a pretty bad time unless they had converted it to be, you know, all-wheel drive or even front-wheel drive, because rear-wheel drive for off-roading? Ooh, yeah. You're looking at a difficult time. So unless you're some sort of rally master, you're we definitely would have had your work cut out for you, to say the least. Also, one thing I have to say about this Red Devil Skyline is it's always surprised me that the Red Devil just in general just does not have these these wheels for the on the car's default, because it matches the scheme of the car so well. Because this is one of the very few cars you can't actually change the design of it in any way. It's just got that color and it's got that body design, and that's how it is. You can't do anything about it. So, but it's just interesting to me that like the wheels were just like the stock ones. Maybe it was to make it a bit easier for players. I don't know, but it's something I thought that was kind of interesting of note. Anyways, next we have here is Street Queen. Street Queen? That's what? That's not how it is. Street Queen, excuse me, likes to be the center of attention. Shows off with his flashy car and while driving. Well, if you got a pink 300 ZX, and you must have some pretty flashy driving, especially to be called Street Queen. I can't. You know what? We're gonna move on. We're just gonna pretend that. But anyways, we're already on to the leader, which is Unstoppable Black Dragon. A bit of a long name. Having lost faith in society, he lives now only to race. Ooh, it's not exactly a way you probably want to be doing your things, but I guess for this person, it's like, what else? Maybe they look at it as what other purpose do I have anymore? Especially when I don't look at humanity in any sort of good, positive limelight. I might as well just race. Also, you'll note, again, the TR Racing's logo from Teammates to Leader is kind of very similar to Rolling Guy, where all the teammates have like a blue logo design, whereas the leader here has like a red one. Although the notable change between TR Racing leader-wise and Teammates is the text, even on the Teammates one, is also blue, whereas on the leader here, it's kind of just white text with the red verb. But there we go, 11,000 CP. Of course, nothing wrong with quite a hefty amount of CP. This is pretty much the amount of CP you're seeing here is pretty much going to be the normal from this point on. Already has been the normal for a little bit if you've been paying attention. Anyways, so that's one team down. Let's take on team number 2, which in this part is Cupid Arrows. As we have here, Cowboy Girl. Although she really wants to be an actress, don't let her looks fool you. She races with the best of them. Well, that's certainly one way to speak them up, to say the least. Yeah, Cupid Arrows. This team, I'm surprised, is actually a later team, especially considering the type of vehicles they drive, which is mostly Honda Civics. Mostly Civics. One person drives an Integra, and then the leader, well, you'll see what Honda they drive in just a bit. And yeah, you can see there for the bounce off the wall. It's like I said, this car is more stable than that of the NSX, but if you're a little too wild with it, as I might have admittedly been there, excuse me, it can still bite you a little bit. And even though these are Civics and stuff, they must definitely be fully tuned, because if they can keep up, then they're either really damn good drivers, or those Civics are just fully cranked. They have to be, I imagine, especially because of when they appear in the rival list from this point in the game. That's just my guessing, though. And yes, 10,000, nearly 11,000 CP for a Civic, mind you, a Civic. Yeah, they don't mess around. But anyways, let's move on to another Civic, one that looks a little more zany and over the top. Moonlight Child. Normally a quiet woman, she takes to the road when the moon is out. So, does that mean if the moon is not out, she doesn't take to the road? What if it's one of those nights where the moon is protruded by the clouds and you don't see it? Does that mean she doesn't take to the road? Is the moon is her almighty force? What controls her decisions to decide whether or not she actually wants to go racing or not? I'm looking into some of this way too much. I apologize. I mean, it's part of my brain and how it tends to want to say things so that I don't go for like all these like long pauses or anything. Whatever. Anyways, let's move on to the next one here, which is the one Integra driver of Cupid Arrows, Alluring Fairy. A skilled driver in spite of the fact she only got her license 12 months ago. You could say she's a prodigy. She's a star driver, and maybe should be a little bit more than what she is, which is, according to the rival list, serving as the number 2 driver for Cupid arrows. I guess to be fair, you know, maybe she's not quite ready to be the number 1, and especially considering what kind of vehicle that we will be seeing the leader of Cupid arrows in. In fact, I'm trying to think if that particular car that she drives has shown up with any other driver yet. I don't think it has. I think she might be the lone driver with it. Don't quote me on that. I believe she might be, though, but that's just my memory potentially biting me in the ass about that. Whatever. We'll get there in a little bit. Anyways, let's move on to the next one, which just so happens to be lucky number 100 on the rival list, Silver Impact. A slower driver than the rest of the team, she works at organizing everyone, confident in her grip skill. So she's basically, what is she, like one that tries to help hold all the glue together for all the teammates or stuff? If she's like the organizer, like does that basically mean like she serves like maybe as like the second in command role? I don't know. Isn't that something the leader should be the best at doing, is like working at organizing everyone? Or am I thinking of things that my brain isn't quite connecting? At least you have, and I mean, you'd have to be confident in your grip skill if you drive a Civic Type R, or even an Integra Type R for matter. Those cars are excellent for grip, for being front-wheel drive vehicles and whatnot. You know. Anyways, we come up to the last member before the leader. It is 246 Heartbreaker. I'm going to say it's 246 Heartbreaker because it probably can't be 246 Heartbreaker. That would be a bit much. Also, what exactly the name 246 Heartbreaker? What exactly does the 246 mean anyways? Who knows? But anyways, 246 Heartbreaker, a secretary who races to get over her broken hearts. Her beautiful exterior hides a master racer. Well, almost sounds like a bit of a sob story there, racing to get over her broken hearts. You know, that might just be the way I'm looking at it. Maybe I'm just a judgmental asshole. Who knows? Then again, this is also a video game, and I probably shouldn't really be looking into this that much. But I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot who plays car games for videos and tries to get at least some people to enjoy it. The people that do decide to, you know, watch the stuff, you know. It'd be like that sometimes. But we managed to get 11,000 CP from her. It's quite a lot. As we now get to the leader, and which is Sonic Runner in a very Sonic Blue Honda S2000. Claims she's not a rebel in spite of her dark hair. What? Oh my god, I really do need some more sleep. But anyway, Sonic Runner, Sonic Blue S2000. Not a rebel in spite of her dyed hair. Hardcore racer who's out on the highway every day. So she basically is the one really putting the hours in on the team if she's out every day. Which is good. If you're going to be a leader, you got to be the one, like, you know, who could really put their weight around and kind of help out the team, rack up some W's and kind of give them some, at least a little bit of notoriety. At least something, right? Something to at least help with the palette. And honestly, that was a pretty easy win. But I got quite a good 16,000 CP. I mostly put that on just where I was on the map. Just got really lucky with the position. But yeah, there we go. That is that part, because again, the boss won't be until we defeat one more team. So you're going to have to wait for part 9 to see who we come up against. But that is going to do it for today's part. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit the like, because hitting like and sharing this video around definitely helps with the YouTube algorithms. Also, subscribe to this channel, because that also helps as well. Come check out all my social links down below in the description. Become a member on Patreon. You get to have your name at the start of each future video. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all on the next one.